Okay. Hey, Jeff.
Hey Frank, how are you?
Very good.
Enjoying your dinner?
Yeah, I'm actually in Salem, New York right now. I just finished firing a kiln. We started at 7 o'clock this morning because it was raining yesterday. So
Hmm.
I get to be up here and sit in the old pottery studio. That's where I am right now.
Okay. Is Salem, New York, where the Chestnut people are?
Yes, very good.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
he's in the sushi. He's in this area. And when I
Oh,
first saw his trees, there were all these little white cones on them to protect them.
yeah.
And in the past, I saw someone put all these things with solar fields till the woman I fired the kiln with, her husband, Mick, had a long conversation with him, the owner
Hmm.
from Shutesbury.
Yep.
And he goes, they're all over this place. He's got if you go on his website, they're all over. He's got
Okay. Yeah.
he's got a lot of acres too.
Yeah. I was on their website yesterday.
Well,
Yep. Okay.
how'd you come across it?
Um, a friend of ours who works at the town hall in Shutesbury, she forwarded the website to us
Wow.
because she was talking about, well, we know where they live, and we also knew the people who lived in there before these people moved in. So,
Tom and I took care of the Airbnb on Lake Wyola, and when the Chestnut wife had her baby, your parents are professors out in California, LA.
hmm.
They go to Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket for the summer, and they came out for like 9 months to help out, and lived in the or 6 months, whatever, lived in the Avalon house. So
Okay.
I get to know them because she had a hell of a time with the Keurig machine. We had to go all over there all the time and fix it.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Did you have a chance to take a look at the bids, the second electrical bid?
Yeah, in fact, Stephen and I met yesterday to review
Okay.
them.
Oh,
So
good.
that'll be a topic of discussion tonight.
Yes. Hello, Stephen.
Hey, Frank.
I'm in Salem, New York. I just finished firing a kiln. And it was a long day, but here I am.
When you say finished firing, now it's cooling down or now what's
Yep,
happening?
it's about 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and we shut all the ports and um, uh, shut it all down and seal it all up so that it radiates its heat inside and cools very slowly. So right
Yeah.
now it's at a good high orange heat right now.
Okay.
So you
And
So
then
we
how
when
shut all the
long
ports tight.
how
Go
long
ahead,
did it
Stephen.
take you to get it up to temperature?
Oh, way too long. Last time I finished at 3, we finished at 5:15, and it was a little uneven. Don't know why. So we started at 7, and we got it up to 2,380 degrees Fahrenheit.
So when you start it, do you have the pieces in there?
Oh yeah, yeah. We loaded the kill a few days ago and left it there, and then just Gail, it's her kiln. I just help her out. She puts this little wood in and to start it off slow. Hey Phil, and then
Hello.
we go all day, and it's like you put it in every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, and
I
the
assume
wood.
you're using wood, right?
Yeah, we're using hardwood and softwood,
Okay.
pine and hardwood, and The pine was very dry. Some of the hardwood was wet. Well, not as dry as it should be.
Hmm.
I'll
So
call the
is
meeting
this
to order at
pine,
5:02.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead, you can say that. The pine is
so is the pine like white pine and is it sappy?
a little, yeah. And it's matchsticks. It's about 2 feet long, about that thick. You throw it, some are bigger, but
Mhm.
anyway, so it's a good thing.
Hmm.
So we have Jeff Quackenbush, Frank McGinn, Stephen Dalmas, and Phil
Parker.
to start off with. Did anyone review the minutes of 10:8 and 10:14?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any
while back.
changes?
No, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good with both.
Okay.
I thought they were much better.
Yeah, I actually, the AI has 8 or 12 settings. So at the end of our last meeting,
Mhm.
I copied them all down, all the different settings, all the AI templates you could have, and they look a lot better now. So
Yeah.
and that's why I kind of highlighted what they were, so I remember in my mind to do the same thing with this meeting. So do I have a motion to accept the meetings, the building committee's meetings of 10:8 and 10:14?
I
Make the
move that we
motion.
accept the minutes from
Yep.
what are the dates again?
10:8 and
10:8
10:14.
and 10:14. 10:14? 11:14.
No,
No.
10,
No,
10:14.
10:14.
11, 12 now.
Sorry.
It's the building committee meeting and then the
Select
meetings
board.
with select board.
Ah, okay, sorry.
That's why it was so close. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Dalmas, aye.
Quackenbush, aye.
Parker, I.
McGinn, aye. Thank you. Okay. Was there any comments on the select board meeting? Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Well, I
It was
guess sometime we're
straightforward.
gonna have to
I
meet
was
with
very
Haley.
pleased with Rita. She kind
We're gonna have to meet with Haley to to talk about getting a preferred
Yep.
vendor list, contractors, and how we do that.
right.
I
I think we have to sit down and maybe go and find out who's been working at all the buildings and then talk about them. I think that'd be a good way to start. We can do a site visit at town hall and see what vendors have been.
Who pays all the
fixing it.
bills? There should be, somebody's paying
Yeah.
all the bills, right? So it should be pretty easy to,
Treasurer, yeah.
all right. Yeah, my observation on that meeting,
She-
the guy, Rob Kibler, I think his name was, seemed, I don't know if you guys know him, anything about him. He seemed to be pretty experienced with contracts and contractors. Maybe he's a resource we could tap into.
I know Rob. He just had an accident, so he's laid up for a little bit. So I can talk to him and get some.
What does
You know,
he,
talk
what
to
does
him
he
about-
do? What's his job?
Something with waterways and something or other in environmental, I think. He explained it to me once, but I don't remember.
I don't know. He just seemed to be very familiar with contractors and experience with setting up, contracts and stuff. So it seemed like a good resource for us. And maybe he's got, preferred vendors on with his business that he uses, and knows how much to negotiate, because we gotta come in with like a negotiating strategy on how to approach all these vendors. And,
Yep.
with a target, some sort of target. I'm assuming we want some sort of a discount for our business.
And some type of assurances on calling and like when something's broken at the school.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Some sort of commitments from them.
Okay. I think we should get together as a site visit with Haley and the treasurer and go over and find a list. I can do that for a future meeting. or we can do it together as just a site thing, so it doesn't have to be a meeting. And brainstorm with them. I'll go in tomorrow and ask the treasurer if she can give us a printout. That's one way to start. Or email me a printout, and then we can
Yeah,
look.
there you go. Save a step.
I'll go over there and ask her to explain, what I want. And the funny thing is, I thought Becky had one, but Haley couldn't find one. So anyway, so that's where we are with that. Electrical projects updates. So Stephen and Jeff looked at everything. Thank you very much, because I was going to ask you to do that anyway, because you're real good at that, Jeff. And
Stephen.
and Stephen are really good at it.
So Stephen, did you hear back from him?
Hear back from Grace
Grace? Yeah.
in terms of what?
Well, he said he was gonna look at his numbers again, but it wasn't gonna be till the weekend, but I was wondering if maybe if he got done sooner than expected.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, last night I wrote him an email that sort of went over the things we talked about. Maybe I'll
Right.
just go over what we discussed. So I printed out the estimates from Grace and the estimates from Pechoric, and then tried to compare them. And there's some differences, but when I added up their totals, Grace was at 11,266 and Pechoric at 12,052. But there were a couple of questions, and actually in looking over Grace's more closely in terms of Old Town Hall, he lists that he's putting a 32 circuit main panel in the basement, whereas when he's talking about Town Hall, where there are 3 panels that are being replaced, he's talking about 20 circuit sub panels. So I was wondering if he got it confused, because he also talked about in Old Town Hall grounding that as per NEC 2023 requirements. So I essentially asked him a question about that. And, I called him when Jeff and I were meeting, and he talked to us. And he will need to go through and, quote, update his estimate because it's pretty old. If you look at Pechorik's, I mean, it's good for a month. So Ryan said that, he's pretty busy, so it'll probably be after the weekend, but that would be okay. We did notice that in Pechorik's, he did not include a cost for putting in the emergency lighting in the fire department.
We asked him about that too.
We did, and that's pretty much more complicated than in the highway. So if you want, I'm willing to contact Pechoric and let him know that. Have you been dealing with him via email or phone?
Both. And so I would email him and then follow up with a phone call.
Did
I
you?
I will send you all his contact information.
Okay. When Jeff and I were talking, one of the things we like about Pechoric is he made some suggestions. For instance, in the scope of work, some of the specifics I pulled from some documents, scope of work documents that Anna had sent. And I used the same comment or requirement for ground fault circuit interrupters, and that was hospital grade. And Pechoric said he felt that you didn't need hospital grade, and they're 3 times as much as the regulars, which was nice because he then said, you know, if you want them, I'll put them in, but it's going to be this much extra. He also made a suggestion when we were going through town hall of, instead of replacing the fuse box that's in the hallway, essentially making that a junction box and putting a larger panel in the assessor's closet to house all those circuits. Also like that. And then there were some other details, but when I was looking through Grace's, he had some details that Pechoric didn't. So it might come down to, you know, whoever, you know, we decide, but if Grace, because Grace's estimate for Old Town Hall was $600 higher than Pechoric's, but almost $2,000 less than Pechoric's for Town Hall. And you know, so there are these variations, but they come out being almost equal.
Yep.
So when we get Grace's, we can go through that. And, you know, if he gets it to us this week, Jeff and I were thinking that given the 6th of December is when Pechoric's dies, if you will, we'd like to get back to him before then. And we could meet, Jeff and I could meet on the 3rd of December. That'd be 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Does that work for you, Frank? Does that work for you, Phil?
I think so. I have nothing on the 3rd. That works.
The 3rd of December?
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm gonna be out of town.
All right.
I'll ask Anna too. She couldn't make tonight's meeting, but she could make next 2 weeks. I'll say, and I wanted to get this over with, not wait another week, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 of us, so that's all we need.
Okay. Okay, cool beans. And we'll do that for our
So
next.
we'll tentatively schedule meeting for the 3rd.
Right. And then we'll be able to pull the trigger on that. Good, good, good. I'm glad we're making.
And we're probably talking schedule wise, what they said, January, February.
Well, that's what Grace said when I called him last night. He was scheduling into January.
Right,
Uh,
which means February.
Which they're all.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, the next on our agenda is Knoxbox, and I have to talk to Lenny because I can't do the online thing, and I'm gonna try to get him to order them because he has an account. And we'll see what happens with that, and I'll get back to you all.
The meeting minutes said that you installed one?
No. No, did it?
Yeah, I think it's there because I was,
Correct.
Read
I
it
didn't know,
twice.
no, for install or something like that. No, you,
It's-
no, you,
it
know
was-
what? You,
it said you installed it at the library.
yeah, no, you, I guys, to turn around, you brought that up. I said, you told us about the recessed one you installed in the library. That's what that was about.
Okay, that's not what it said, but okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you might want to look at that. That's one of the things that I think is tricky about AI because remember way back, I think it was one of the first times you did it. I was asked a question about, oh, I think you asked me, Frank, about, I'm trying to remember. Oh, whether or not the various alarm systems were tied into a central monitoring agency. And my answer was, I don't know. And the AIA minutes said that I confirmed that they're all tied in.
Yep.
Now, I don't know how the AI got from, I don't know, to they're all tied in, but yeah. Okay.
And question regarding Frank, where are we with smoke detector for the elevator?
That's what Vittoric was supposed to have made a contact for us, and it's, that's why I was waiting for him. He had a friend that was gonna do something like that, so we have to get on that right away also. I'll put
Yep.
that on the meeting for the 3rd, and I'll,
On his proposal, he said he's tried to contact his friend, but hasn't had luck yet.
that's,
Yeah, I think he said that, the schedule hadn't worked out. Here you go. Here's what he wrote. Not included. Tried getting fire company out and scheduling hasn't worked. Can revisit or as recommended on site. May be best to call company that currently services the system due to their familiarity of the system and building needs. Well, we have an estimate from them, right? But we want another one.
might have to be updated because it was term limit, it's the same thing. They
Yeah.
extended it till whatever, and I'm sure I'll give them a call too.
Yeah, but I think having at least a second estimate,
Oh,
Uh,
definitely.
because there was something at the library, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, putting the window film to keep the birds from hitting it.
Oh, yeah.
We got
15,
two estimates. One was
Yeah.
17,000. They came out, they measured, and it included scaffolding and a lift and washing the windows. And then another company was, I think, 34,000.
Yep.
And that didn't include a lift or scaffolding, didn't mention washing. So,
They didn't want the job.
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want the job.
Now,
Okay.
the next thing we're talking about is a school, and now I'm glad we're talking about the new library. How was your relationship with the HVAC guy,
The HVAC contractor or the HVAC designer, which,
the contractor?
no, they're pretty good. But they only do commercial. So
They
why are
do,
you asking?
no, I know, because at the school, I want some seconds on Jamrod.
No,
I've been trying to figure out, I've been spending a lot of time there. It's very interesting. Everything constantly breaks there, and I get calls and emails. The latest one was the fan that circulates all the air in there has 3 fan belts on it. And one of the fan belts broke
See,
and shattered the copper wires that is for the thermostat that turns it off and on when it gets cold, turns it off when it gets cold. And it did not fracture the cooling system, but it did damage it, but it didn't leak it. It didn't break it to leak it.
Hmm.
The other thing that happened there was they ordered 5,000 gallons of fuel oil, and they only got 3,000. And because the guy turned the pump on, it has an automatic shut off. It's a really fancy thing. The pressure guy told me about it, so that when they do pump stuff in like that, it will automatically shut off very quickly. But some of the surplus, because of the pressure, ended up in a PVC pipe that a valve that comes from there, and it filled the room up with fuel oil smell, but it eventually went away. But it was because of the little overspill that happened at the tank. But the Jamrod's been coming out doing a lot of things. And over the years, they've been doing this a lot. And I'd like to get a second opinion just to keep, apples to apples and see how they're doing.
Yeah.
And if you were out there where the oil tank is in that little round island,
Yep.
I talked to I don't have his name right in front of me, the old principal, and he told me the date. And he said, so many years ago when they installed all that, it was all recommended by someone. It's a stupid system, I think. There was a very big problem because water got into something, and Jamrod fixed it as an emergency for $30,000. And he goes, and it killed his budget that year. But they had to fix it because these things always happen in the middle of winter, not in the middle of summer.
Mhm.
So you had to fix it, and it was just basically redoing the pads up top and fixing some of the electrical, the sensor systems that don't work now. Excuse me. So I would really, really, really would like to get a second opinion to make sure, because Jamard's been, working on the school system for years. They know it, but I don't know if they're cheap or expensive or they're taking advantage. I don't know, but I'd like to get, and it was Pioneer Valley that did the new library.
No, no.
Who was it?
Um, something boiler company. They're out of Gardner.
Okay.
What's their name? Because we're gonna hire them for the next year to do the maintenance at the new library. Um, so they'd be sending people out here anyways. So it'd be good to see if we can get,
They're basically a big HVAC commercial company, right?
yeah, they do. They don't do residential, they only do commercial.
So this is, there's an oil burner and everything else. Um, so, I think I'd like to have someone look at it and give an opinion. So maybe we can in the future contact them or whoever the manager or the York Point person on the library to come out and do a walkthrough
Mm-hmm.
and give us some ideas also.
Mm-hmm.
Because the ones I got from Patoya, from Jamrod, were moving things around and it was big bucks. He said, well, we can do this, but it's going to cost, move the pump and do all this other stuff. But it's an involved job. And he didn't give me figures, but I know that everything they do is big bucks. So,
Yep.
and the other side of the thing is I'm working with Michael DiChiara. I've been going around town, the ECAC, which I forget. Whatever.
You're breaking up, Frank.
We're all supposed to be off fossil fuels by company. A little better, yes.
Yeah.
But I'd like
So
to,
you talked to-
down. I don't want to invest a bazillion. Yeah.
We didn't get any of that thing about DKR.
Okay, I'm sorry. How's this? So I'm trying to get close to the Wi-Fi. The Michael's working on the ECAC to get everything off fossil fuels, and they hired a company to do an appraisal of all our buildings. And I wouldn't want to put a tremendous amount of money in spending a brand new boiler at the school when it will only last a couple of years, 20 years, and then we have to replace it. So food for thought on that. That's why I'm bringing that up. They want to be,
Well, I went to a meeting, this is months ago, put on by Mitsubishi over closer to Boston. And they were talking about this requirement of, eliminating fossil fuel, going carbon neutral by 2050 or 2050. And if I remember correctly, one of the things that they said is that if you have a fossil fuel system, you can put I'll just say a mini split, an electrical component that'll say be part of the system. And when you hit, in cold weather, at some point, the fossil fuel system becomes more energy efficient. And I'm pretty sure they were saying that that would be allowed, that you would keep the fossil fuel system, but you would bring online this other component, which when it's more energy efficient, so in quote, warmer heating periods, it runs. But when the temperature drops, typically it's 32 degrees. At 32 degrees, it switches over to the fossil fuel. So I'm not sure that I would look at a fossil fuel system as something that's going to go away.
good to know. Good to know. There's something that we have to talk about in the future then. And they came up with certain recommendations. So it might be one of those that you just talked about. Did I lose you? Hold on.
No, we're here.
Okay. So, yeah, so that's something we can talk about in the future and see what we can add. And I'll just get more information from Michael DiChiara. So, does anyone have any unanticipated business?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. I saw the email you sent about, I guess it was an insurance inspection, and they recommended CO detector in the boiler room town hall. I installed that yesterday. It's a
Good.
10-year lithium ion battery, so you don't change the battery for 10 years, you change the smokes. It's a combination, smoke and CO. I also put one in the basement of the library, the Spear Library. And second thing, I'm on the MN Spear Reuse Committee, and the committee has decided that to pursue getting a CPC grant to have the front entry porch repaired. And one of the members, Jeff Lyons, I'm sorry, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Paul Lyons, excuse me.
Following.
Paul Lyons, the window, the basement window on the right front of the library that I identified in the report is being rotted, coming apart, as well as the sill. He has replaced the sill and repaired the window.
yeah.
And when I was in the boiler room replacing the smoke or installing the smoke and carbon monoxide detector, I glanced at the boiler and the water feed is shut off, which you generally don't shut them off. And the boiler pressure, it's not bottomed out, but it's very low. I mean, for that building, it probably should be at least 12 or 13 pounds.
We're talking town hall, right?
Town hall, yes.
Okay.
Sorry. So, I'm going to mention that we have a reuse committee meeting tomorrow, and Brennan, who is the administrative assistant, he comes and he takes notes, and he's obviously been involved in some things. He had talked about, we had discussed, composting toilets, and the composting toilet that's at the base of Randall Road, the boat ramp, there had been some issues with it, and he was explaining that it took quite some time to find somebody that could service it. And I took a look inside of it yesterday, and previously it was nasty looking in there. I mean, I think a lot of I don't know what, but it's clean as a whistle inside there. All the walls have been cleaned, looks good inside. Um, And Jeff, you were going to talk about gutters, right?
Yeah, do we know when Anna got the price for the gutters at the highway department? Let's see, that would be on the east side of the front of the building. The soffit's kind of banged up. Does the price that she got include installing gutters on the building in its existing condition? Or do we need to fix that first? Do you have any clue?
I think I think he just does gutters. I don't think he does anything else.
No, I guess my point is, can we put gutters on that building in its existing condition?
I don't know. I'd have to ask Anna.
Yeah, and then are we still gonna wait then for the resolving the electrical price before we pull the trigger on the gutters? How much money do we have?
We have about 70,000.
Okay. So just to interrupt for a second. So, it looks like doing the electrical work and doing the emergency lighting will be 15 to 18,000. So,
Do we have any guesstimate on the fire alarm system for the town hall?
23, but we voted in town hall meeting to subsidize that. So it's just be the extra adding to the old building that would come out of our coffers. And, so depending on what that would be, because we talked about adding other things to the older part of the building that aren't there, like fire
Right.
detectors and all that stuff.
So
So
the 23 was for the elevator?
I'm not sure it's exactly, I don't, I have to look up the number. I don't have it right here. But it was a number that we passed at town hall, so it's already covered. That main thing is covered from the original quote. So there might be a couple $1,000 difference, but not anything major.
But that wouldn't come out of our budget?
That's they'd come out of the town's budget. That money was put aside at town meeting. So
So should we pull the trigger on the gutters and get going with that?
I think so. Yeah.
So we need to contact Anna because she probably needs to get a revised number.
Right. So I'll send her an email tomorrow.
Okay. And were there any outstanding issues regarding that gutter quote? Like we needed to decide on? I can't remember. It's been so long.
I had
I-
one thought or just one question was did those quotes include gutter guards to keep leaves and debris out of them?
I don't think
No.
so.
So because I found the gutters I had on a new building that really helps. You cut down on a lot of maintenance when you have those.
That might be a volunteer project. I can ask if what they do. I don't know if they install those, but we can ask Anna.
Okay.
Okay, that's about it. Dun, dun. That's all I have for tonight, gentlemen.
All right.
Anything else?
Nope.
No,
Okay, do I have a motion to end the meeting?
I make a motion. We can't close the meeting at 6:04.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Dalmas, aye.
Quackenbush, aye.
Parker, aye.
Again, aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.